Okay, take the feet hip width apart, wiggle the toes, soften the knees, lift the arches up underneath the feet, start to pull up that pelvic floor, tilt the pelvis under, tighten up the TVA like your corset one just below your rib cage, lift the rib cage, take the shoulders back, crown of the head going up towards the ceiling, length at the back of the neck. Now find the pelvic floor. We're going to pull in 100% and hold for 6 seconds. But I want you to think, when you think of the pelvic floor, there's that front bit, so from the pubic bone going into the centre, but also think about the back bit, so the coccyx pulling back to the centre. Because sometimes we can think about the front bit and then you forget that back bit, so check the pelvis is tucked under. Pulling front, pulling back in on the pelvic floor, bring in that TVA and really tighten it up, so belly button coming back to the spine. Check you're not holding the breath. 3 times in, pull in, 6 seconds, big squeeze, front and back pelvic floor, TVA, 6, 5, 4, breathe, 3, 2, 1, slow release. And again, pelvic floor, front and back, TVA, pulling in, shoulders relax, 6, 5, 4, 3, are you breathing? 2, 1, and slow release. One more time, pelvic floor, front and back, pelvis tucked under, TVA in, big squeeze. Keep breathing, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow release it down to 50%. Still work with the front and the back parts of that pelvic floor. So ready then, we're going to go lift that arm up level with the shoulder. Similar move to what we normally do, but we're going to do some repeats. So ear down to shoulder, neck release, try and relax this other shoulder, and then recenter. Keep that arm, keep that tension in that arm. We're going to go again. Ear down to shoulder, still got that 50% pull in, and then recenter. I want you to notice what the other shoulder's doing. Is it relaxed? Is it drifting? See if you can get the gravity coming down onto that other shoulder. So pressing down. Just let that arm go really floppy. Ear down to shoulder. And then recenter. We've got 4 more. We're going to do 8 on each. Ear down to center. And then recenter. 3 left. Still working with that pelvic floor, front and back. TVA pulled in. And a reset. Should start feeling the release in the neck now. 2 more. Ear down to shoulder. Try not to go into the shoulder glide just yet. So just working with the neck, isolating. Keep pulling in that pelvic floor. Ear down to shoulder. It's the last one. Recenter. You don't have to go so far down on this, but drift the ear down and then work your shoulder glide. So reaching out to the side, you're going to get your pinch and your squeeze in your side, then recenter. So we don't have to work the neck release so much on this, but think about the shoulder glide. So you're just taking that shoulder to the side. Recenter, we're going to do 8. Keep that arm level with the shoulder. Over to the side. Pull in that pelvic floor, that TVA as you recenter. Press down into the feet to recenter as well. So think about grounding, pushing down into the mat. How are we doing? 3 more. Shoulder glide it out. Recenter it. You almost got to think about getting your shoulders directly over your hips on that recentering. Pulling in that core. Think about these obliques. Last one, shoulder glide. Recenter. Now switch that arm up towards the ceiling. 8 circles. Circling that arm back and around, just opening out. Opening up, particularly that from the chest to the shoulder. Just nice and loose. You can almost lift and then just let it kind of slide around. 3 more. Check you're not holding your breath. And releasing. So now we're going to bring that arm up level with the shoulder. Now you're going to know this. We're going to draw it back and we're going to lift it up to half a cactus. Draw it back down, reach it forwards. Draw it back, half a cactus. See if you can get that elbow at level with the shoulder. And then reach. And you almost want to think about your shoulders here, really pressing back into space. Down and reach. Try not to let the shoulder come forwards as the hand comes forwards. And reach. We've got 3 more. Shoulder's going to feel amazing after this. And reach. Pressing it back. It's almost like this robotic kind of action. Last one. Keep working pelvic floor front and back. Keep pulling in. Take that arm up all the way. Now we're going to go into our side bends. Hand on hip if you want. Otherwise you can just free fall. Recenter. We're going to go for 8. Breathing out into these extensions. 7. And 6. Try and stay like nice and loose kind of in the arm, almost like you're painting rainbows here. 5. Still working with the pelvic floor, the TVA. And 4. Hips are still. 3. Press down into the feet as you recenter. And 2. And last one. Oh, and release. A bit of a shake out on that arm. Same thing on the other side. Can anyone remember it? We started with the neck release. Arm out level with the shoulder. Pull in pelvic floor, pull in TVA. 8 times. Just slowly lower the ear down to the shoulder and recenter. Take your time with the neck release. Ear down to shoulder. Thinking about the other shoulder relaxing. This other shoulder, just get a little bit more kind of gravity going down into that. And 3. Nice and slow, ear down to shoulder. Don't need to shoulder glide with this one too much. It's working into the neck. Ear down to shoulder. Still thinking about pelvic floor, front and back. Still thinking about belly button pulling back towards the spine. I've got 2 left. Ear going down. Eye gaze forwards. Last one. Ready for the shoulder glide then. So reaching out to the side, not so much on the neck that time. Then recenter it. Press down into the feet as you recenter. Shoulder glide it out. Feel all the squeezes down your side. Think about that TVA drawing in, pulling in. Recenter it. And over. 4 more. Pelvic floor in, front and back. Press down into the feet to recenter. See if we can keep that arm up level with the shoulder. 2. And last one. Take that arm up towards the ceiling, then it was the circles. So you can get nice and loose. Reach it up, then just slide it back down. Reach and over. Just like a nice little bit of a release. Try and keep the body facing forwards. 4 more. Still pulling in pelvic floor. Still pulling in TVA. 2. 1. Ready for the cactus. So half a cactus. Or like an Indian how. Bring it down. Stretch it forwards. Keep the shoulders back. Press it back down. Shoulders are down and back. Lift a cactus. And down. And reach. Push back. We've got it. Now pull in pelvic floor. Pull in TBA. And lift. So if you can, you notice if you've got yourself looking in your screens there, just check your elbows up level with your shoulder. And notice what's happening with this other arm, right? Are you holding loads of tension in the other arm? Just see if you can let go of this other arm. And reach. And lift. See some elbows dropping there. Last one, lift. Howdy. Lifting up then, 8 side bends, hands on hip if you want to. Big rainbows. Nice and loose in the arms, but find the tension there in the side. pelvic floor in, TVA in. Just try and relax in the neck, the shoulders. 4 more, pressing down into the feet, particularly as you recenter and lift. And 3. Breathing out into your extensions. And 2. And last one. Bit of a shake out on that arm. Whew. Little bit of arm right there. Last little bit for shoulders. Shoulders down and back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Tuck the elbows in. Nice little classic here, scapular sets. Just drive your thumbs back. Bring it back together. But I want you to notice what's happening here with your lower back. So as soon as we went straight into that then, make sure your pelvis was tucked under, right? Because as soon as I do this, as soon as I go into this move, I arch my lower back to try and open my chest. So tuck the pelvis in, find front and back pelvic floor, pull in that TVA, and then do your scapular set and see how different that feels. Because we all want to lift and open the heart, but we kind of got to get that full body connection and that core tied into that. Tuck the pelvis under. 4 more, breathing out. Feel the squeeze on the shoulders. If you've been doing lots of sort of like bent over stuff, typing, anything like that, driving, writing novels, short stories. It's all about the short stories these days, right? The last one. And release. Into our squats in. So if you want to take a little bit of a wider stance, scrunch up the toes, lift up the arches. We're going to go down for a squat. So take the hips back in space. Reach the hands forwards. Press, push into the glutes, and we're going to go up on a star. So it's a 1-leg balance star. So go down into your squat. And then draw up. You can circle the arms down and around into your star balance. Okay, 8 for them. Down into your squat. Reaching up into your star. And if you've got, like me, you've got middle of your screen, you can think about touching the corners of the screen on those stars. Woo. Down into the squat. Rebalance, restabilize up into your star. Really notice here the big toe. Use the big toe on the balance. Scrunch up the toes, engage the arch. On these stars, you can really think about opening out the chest, lifting up the heart, shining forwards. Squat to star. A little bit lower on these squats, then take the hips down and back and lift. I'm going to add in a few little bits now, so take the squats nice and low, then lift up to your star, hold your star. Now circle this leg that's lifted. Little 1-leg circle here. Scrunch up the toes, use these arches. Other way around. Other way around. Back to that squat, nice and low. Squeeze those glutes, lifting up and out, pull in that pelvic floor, and circle. 1-leg circle on the star. Keep working with the TVA and the pelvic floor. Other way around. 2 more. Down into this squat, nice and low. Press into those glutes and lift. Circle. Opposite arm to leg now. Circle. Whew, this is like brain gym here. Opposite arm to leg, circle. Other way around. Ah. The things that she makes us do on a Monday night. Last time, down into your squat, nice and low, squeeze the glutes, lift up the arches, star, circle, opposite arm to leg. Don't forget to breathe. Really use those fingertips on this, other way around. Woo. Sure this one wasn't in the manual. Last one, circle, and lowering it down, a little bit of a shake out. A little bit more isolation now, so I'm going to go calf raising, okay? So I'll just take my camera down for a bit. So if you want to hold on to the wall to start with, that's fine. So all we're going to do to start with, engage, so scrunch up the toes and get over the big toe. Lift up the arch, squeeze the glute, pull in pelvic floor front and back, and just lifting up onto the toes. Really simple. And lower. And lift. And lower. Check, you've got these connections here. We're going up through the big toe. When you're walking, when you're running, same thing. You want to go through that big toe. Think about that when you're running. Lifting up those arches, everything's engaging there. We're squeezing that glute. If you want a little bit more, not hanging on. So if you can work with the balance too, right? Lift and lower. And lift and lower. Try and keep those connections right through the core. 4 more, lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. And lower. Last one. And lift. And lower. Switch it to the other side. Same thing, big toe. Scrunch up the arches and scrunch up the toes, the arches engage. Squeeze the glute, pull in pelvic floor front and back, TVA engage. Lift and lower. And lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. It doesn't have to be so high. It's more about getting all those muscles to engage and work that sort of kind of connection, that line. Check your brain is thinking the same thing. We're not thinking about what we're having for tea right now. 5 more. Letting go of the wall as well if you want. Lift. And lower. Check that you're still breathing here. And lift. And lower. Still engage that pelvic floor, that TVA lift. Lower. 2 more. Glutes. And lower. Last one. And lift. And lower. Little bit of a kind of heel toe walk out on the heels. Stretch out the calves. So going to go back to a little bit of breath work. So we're going to go breathing in through the nose, in for 5. Interlink the fingers, push the palms away. Breathing in then. Opening up the chest, you can arch and look up if you choose. Breathing out, palms facing you, arching the upper back, so like a cat stretch. Breathing out, bring the arms all the way down. Interlink the fingers behind. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, breathing in. In for 5, breathing out, bring the hands back to heart center. And then we're going to do that. So we're going to do it 5 times. Ready then. Breathing in. Lifting palms up towards the ceiling, looking up, lifting up the chest. Breathing out, palms facing you. Draw the abdomen in, like your cat stretch. Breathing in, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lifting up the heart. Breathing out, hands at heart center, nice and relaxed. And again, breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose. Breathing in through the nose and lifting up the heart. Breathing out through the nose. Come down to heart center. And again. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. 2 more in your own time, because maybe you're breathing a little bit slower than me, or a little bit quicker, however you like. Lifting up, really lift and open out the chest. Get the space between the shoulder blades, then squeeze the shoulder blades. Drive those wrists together, and then come to prayer. Last one. Really nice little practice there, really to open out the shoulders and the chest. Okay, so make your way down to downward dog, and then we're going to start some mat work. Heel toe, so just stretch out those calf muscles. After we've done our calf raising, feet, knees, hip width apart. Spiral the biceps towards each other, get the stretch on the backs of the shoulders, top of the back. Try and get your ears in between your arms, hips going up towards the ceiling. Take some nice deep breaths here. Nice good inversion, so we're upside down. Gets all the blood going to the brain. Quite invigorating, really good for us. Gets rid of any of that stale energy. Couple more deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose, lifting up those hips, bend the knees if you need to. Drift that forwards to your plank position. So pull in that pelvic floor, pull in that TVA. You put your shoulders over your wrists. A little bit of core strength and upper body. Just going to bend, so knees come down, little touch, and then straighten. And knees come down, and then straighten. 6 more. Pull in that TVA, pull in that pelvic floor. This is just like a little tease here. Just a little engagement tease, really. 4. You're not holding that breath. And 3. And 2. Last one. Knees touch. Straighten. Then come down into all fours. Okay. Hands into shoulders, knees into hips. Check you're in neutral here. So if you need to pelvic tilt, tuck that pelvis under. Find that TVA, find that pelvic floor, front and back, right? So notice here in all fours whether you naturally go towards the front of the pelvic floor or the back. Check that you're pulling through on the back. Opposite arm to leg, lift and extend. Again, it's a really good classic. Swap it over, other side. Nice and simple. Keep going, breathe out. Really work into these extensions. Think about that arm up level with your ear. Think about that leg level with your hip. Check that you're squeezing those glutes on these lifts. Have you got one glute that's stronger than the other glute? If so, let's really work the weak glutes, get it stronger. A little bit more of a squeeze in there. I mean, it's not too early. I don't know if it's too early for Christmas crackers, but if we're Christmas crackers, maybe it's a little bit too early. Think about here getting pulled from the hand, from the foot. Breathe out into your extensions. If you want a challenge now, lift up the resting foot. So we've just got point of contact with the knee and the hand. It's a big glute move here, so really check that you're squeezing those glutes on that leg that's lifted. That leg that goes back, think about the tension and the length and the straight, one nice straight leg. Maybe point the toes. 4 more. This is your lower back exercise as well, strengthening the lower back, activating the glutes, lengthening through the spine, eye gaze to the front of the mat. Last one. Breathe out, extend. Brilliant. From there, then come down onto your front. Find your cactus arms. You see me all right? Let me just put it, give you a bit more video. Cactus the arms at the front. Cactus the arms at your side. It's better. There we go. Swan dive then, another good classic here. So forehead down to the mat, breathing out, lift head and shoulders. Imagine you're reading a good book here and lower. Just try and keep the feet relaxed. Still engaging with the pelvic floor. Breathing out, left. Just notice now when you're lifting here, are you pushing down with your forearms? So just see if you can take that away. So try not to just leave your arms down, but try not to push down into them. It's almost like your arms become these feathers and they're just resting there next to you. One more, just like that, looking down, feather arms. Adding in then if you want, breathing out, lifting up the arms, try and get to the same height that you just did with the arms down, and lower. Thinking about using the top of the back here, not the neck. Keep the eye gaze down. Breathing out left. Breathing in lower. Last one like this. Still pulling in through the pelvic floor, that TVA. Adding in then, breathing out left. Take those feathers and just take them forwards and reach. Then bring them back to cactus and bring it down. Breathing out left. Breathing in, breathing out and reach back to those cactuses. And lower. And left. Slowly reaching forwards, nice and gentle. Work into that stretch. Back to cactus, lower it down. 2 more. Breathing out there. Think about the Christmas crackers now on this stretch. Really working into that extension. Cactus and down. Last one. Pull in pelvic floor. And reach. Back to cactus. And lower it down. Press back into all fours. Cat stretch it. Get some space between your shoulder blades. Take your chin to your chest. Really think about pulling in and up the pelvic floor here. Draw up that TVA. Eye gaze goes back towards the knees. Couple of deep breaths. So from there we're going to come down to our plank position. Elbows underneath your shoulders. So first of all, pelvic floor pulled in, front and back, TVA, and lift up those hips. So if you want a little bit more, otherwise we're going to hold here for 30 seconds and we're really focusing more on TVA than anything. So where that belly button is, really pull that up back towards the spine, and almost you can almost hollow the TVA up back towards the hips. So it's like a bit of a hollowing. If you want a little bit more, straighten out the legs. Take that nice plank of wood. Now think about the breath. So going back to the breath, try and breathe in for 5 and breathe out for 5. Try not to hold the breath. And keeping that head in line with the spine. So we're not dropping the head here in our planks. Keep that head in line. One nice long straight line. Eye gaze kind of goes just towards where the forearms, in between the forearms. Press back towards the heels. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower one knee down, lower the other knee down. Lower the hips down, a 10-second rest. Okay, take a couple of deep breaths. Looks like Joe. Joe, are you outside? You're outside. You're outside. You can just thumbs up. You're outside. Looks like you're outside. Oh, you're not. You're inside. Inside in the dark.
No lights on.
That's a new Pilates. Pilates in the dark. Ready then. Pelvic floor in, TVA in. Lift up the hips. Straighten the legs. If you want to. We're going to tilt the hips to one side of the mat and then recenter. You can do exactly that with the knees down. Tilt them over, pull in that TVA, pull in that pelvic floor, recenter. Take it over, recenter. Just get a nice little kind of work there into the obliques. Take it over, and then recenter. Quite good for like trail running here or rough ground, because you're constantly having to kind of like lift up your knees, recenter it over. Kind of a lot of twisting goes on in the core. And the intercostals. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. Can you think about that TVA? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hips down, take a 10-second rest. Last one's going to be the lift, so we're going to go from low plank up to high plank. It's the upper body kind of move. So when you're ready then, pelvic floor in, TVA in, lifting up to your plank position, whether you've got knees down, legs straight. Then press into the mat, hand under shoulder, other hand under shoulder, lift. Then lower. Then lift. You get this nice little kind of tilting as you do this from side to side, but that's really good because you want to pull in that core there, pelvic floor, TVA. Brace that so everything kind of stabilizes as you lift, as you lower. You got legs straight or maybe knees down. Lift. And lower. 5 more. And lift. And lower. Might feel a little bit uncomfortable, just work through it. And lift. And lower. And lift. Lower. Last one. And lift. And lower. Putting the knees down and sit back to your version of child's pose. So whether it's all the way back towards heels or maybe just a little bit of space. A bit like a puppy dog. Just take the arms back down by your sides to just help your shoulders totally relax. Forehead down to the mat. And just let gravity take the shoulders down. Send the breath to the lower back. Breathing in for 5. And breathing out for 5. In through the nose. And out through the nose. And just let your head go really heavy here. 3 more breaths. So from there we're going to go on our side. So pick a side. And we're going to start with a bit of a twist. So come in like your upright position and find like an M shape here with your knees. Or a W. Depends which way you look at it. One arm up towards the ceiling, opening out the chest. Breathing out then, spiral around, thread the hand through. Get that really nice twist there, and the stomach and the liver, really good for the digestion. Release toxins. Pull in pelvic floor, pull in TVA. Kind of nice on the rib cage, that one as well. Just floating that hand through. Breathing in as you reach up, breathing out into your twist. Think about the eye gaze here as well. Think looking at where you're going with this. Following your hand through. Let your elbow come through, let your shoulder follow. If you want a little bit more, you can lift that one up. Lifting up the hips, then bring that twist, take it back towards the ankle and then up. Final one, you've got your legs straight. You can bring your twist down and down, right down to the ankles. It's a little bit different, it's a little bit more hip and hamstring work on that full progression. Same thing though, follow your hand with your eye gaze. Try and get some nice flow into there. Breathing out. Last one. And then release, bring it all the way down. Go to those clams, so bend the knees, lift the heels up level with the hips. Lift the top knee and lower. Just shift it so that the top hip sits over the top of the bottom hip. Pull in pelvic floor, pull in TVA. Again, notice with the pelvic floor, do you prefer the, like, you know, are you putting more into the front or into the back of that pelvic floor? So if you can find a balance between them both. Just start feeling it around the glute med. Breathing out as you lift. Breathing into lower. Notice what's happening with your feet there. So maybe if you're holding tension in your feet, they might be kind of curling around each other. So see if you can sort of just get the heels together. A little bit like half tension in the feet, but not so much that they curl around, the arches aren't dropping around. 3 more. And 2. And 1. Straightening out the legs then. Just 8 then. We're going to go double leg lift. So it's lift, lift, rib cage, take the arm over, and release. And 2. We go for 8. Maybe you can go so both legs lift at the same time and rib cage lifts at the same time. 3. Breathing out, lift. Breathing in, lower. So maybe you can get everything lifting all at the same time now. And lower. Check that pelvic floor's pulling in. And lift. And lower. 2 more. Everything lift all at once. And lower. Both legs. Last one. And everything lift. And lower. Top leg then. Flex the foot. Kick that. So you do side kick. Point the toe. Bring it back. All up hip height. Flex the foot. Kick forwards. Point the toe. Bring it back. Nice little push down with this front hands. A little move there for the shoulder. And bring it back. Hamstring stretch. So maybe you can feel your hamstring at 90 degrees if you want a little bit more pulse. 1, 2, and then sweep it back. Flexing as you go forwards. 2, and then point, come back. Keep the control. Keep that leg up at hip height. Breathing out as you go forwards into that stretch. 2 more. Working these flex and point. Maybe you can feel your calf muscles as well as your hamstrings. Last one. And releasing that down. We're going to switch to the other side. I was watching them, see if anyone did a really good move then for that switch. Give me some ideas. Nice transition. Start with your M shape then. Breathing in, reaching up, open out the ribcage, open out the chest. Breathing out, thread that through. Follow the hand with your eye gaze, your elbow, your shoulder. Even if you moved in the progressions, take just 4 on this first one, just because it gets this great wraparound on kind of like liver, stomach. Really good for you. Breathing in as you reach up, looking up. Breathing out, thread through. Adding in if you want to, we could lift up the hips. Take the twist down and back around towards the heel. Slightly different twist really. Kind of works more with the upper body. Not so much your stomach, liver area. That top progression, legs straight, then that top foot sits in front of the bottom foot. Bring it down under and then take it towards the heels. Again, different twist again. You're going to get a little bit more hamstrings on the hips. You always have to really press into the hand that's on the mat there. Push in to get the hips lifted. 2 more. Breathing out as you twist. Get a little bit further each time. Last one. Slowly release it all back down. And we go straight into clams. So bend the knees. Lift the heels up level with the hips. Again, just check your feet. They're only on like half tension. The arch is a little bit engaged. They're not going all floppy on you. Push that top hip forwards. Lift the knee, lower, and lift, and lower. Should straight away feel the glute med in there. If not, just push the hip down a little bit. Find that pelvic floor and pull in. Find that TVA and pull in. Particularly TVA, I find in this move I generally forget to pull in that tummy button back towards the spine. So really think here. Think about your tummy button still drawing in. And lower. Breathe out, lift. Breathing in lower. I did do this exact, not so many. Instead of 8 repetitions of things, I did about 4 before my races at the weekend. I went through, I did my clowns, I did my double leg lifts, my side kicks. I did it all in the van, in the back of my van. Yeah. Straightening out the legs in. Go to this double leg lift. So we're going to try and do it all together, but you might want to do 1 or 2 just to start with. One leg lift, other leg lift, rib cage lift, arm up and over, and lower. If you can, all together then, legs, rib cage, arm, and lower. Working to this balance, all together. Into the lift, breathing out, and lower. Into the lift. Everything lifted. And lower. It doesn't have to be very high. We're just pulling up rib cage, pulling up both legs, feeling that tension all down the body. And lower. 4 left and lift. Breathing out. Work with that balance and lower. And lift. And lower. 2 left. Breathe out, lift. And lower. Last one. And lift. Pelvic floor in. And lower. Lift that top leg. Flex the foot. Kick that leg forwards or side kick. Point the toe. Bring it back. Try and keep that leg now up at hip height. And back. Pressing down with this other hand. It's that shoulder move. Keep your shoulder down and back. And back. Should start feeling the hamstring stretch. See if you can get that foot to like 90 degrees. Level with the hip. Breathing out as you kick forwards. You want to work into those hamstrings, it's pulse. 1, 2, and point. Breathing out. 1, 2, and point. And again, 1, 2. Keep the control. Keep that leg up level with the hip. And 1, 2, and back. 2 more. And last one, flex, and point, and releasing that back down. We're going to go on to our backs now, so get yourself comfy, do a quick time check. Cool. Find neutral spine, get the shoulders relaxed, try and get the length at the back of the neck. Now if you need a cushion, grab a cushion, just get your head slightly lifted. One thing we don't want is the chin like protruding up towards the ceiling. So if you need to grab a cushion, I think that will keep that length at the back of the neck. So we're going to go 4 toe taps, 8 pulses and an 8-second hold. First set I always do in that beginner's level. So we're in pelvic floors in, TBAs pulled in, front and back on that pelvic floor. Neutral spine, shoulders relaxed. 4 toe taps, ready, 4, keep the right angle behind the knee, 3, hips are still, and 2, and 1, lift and pulse, lift the shoulders up, pull in TVA, pull the belly button down, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slide the hands up to the knees, ribs to hips, hold, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. We're ready to go again. We're on 4 toe taps, pelvic floor engaged, 4, and 3. Try and keep the right ankle behind the knee, 2, and 1. Lift and pulse. Try and keep the tension down the arms, not floppy wrists, 8, 7, 6. Keep the tummy still. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straightening out the legs, reach. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Shoulders reset. Put in TVA, 4 toe taps. 4 and 3. Take your time. And 2 and 1. Lift and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straightening out the legs and reach. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Reset those shoulders. Take one little check on the TVA. You're imprinting. 4 toe taps. 4 and 3. Find the pelvic floor. 2 and 1. Lift and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the legs. Reach towards the knees. Hold. Release the jaw. 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. I've forgotten how many sets we've done. Just the last one. Or not. Can't remember. 4 toe taps. Check your imprinting. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. I'm going to lift and pulse. Imprint. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straightening out those legs and reach. Ribs to hips. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. One more set. People done. One more set. That was 5. Joe's telling me that's 5. Okay, alright. Oops. Arms over the head. Take a full body stretch. Who says runners could count? Find that length at the back of the neck here. Just press that back of the head down into the mat. Scrunch up your wrists, point your toes. Push the backs of the knees into the mat. Pull your tummies in. Scrunch up your face. Take a big deep breath in. Breathing out, just let everything go. Cactus the arms. Let the feet turn out. Opening out the hips. Couple of deep breaths. Filling out the chest with air. So bending the knees in. Just going to slowly slide one heel away and then bring it back up. Switch sides, so just slide one heel away. Hands on hips and just try and keep your hips super still. Even notice as well your shoulders. Like I sometimes find when I'm doing this one, like one of my shoulders will dip and I feel like my whole spine is kind of S-shaping. So not just the hips, think about the shoulders here. Still got that length at the back of the neck. Working with a bit of an imprint here, so pelvic floor in, TVA in. Both shoulders melting into the mat, both hips still. Adding in those palms together. As you slide one heel away, we're going to take the palms across to the bent knee. And then recenter it. Reset the shoulders. Cross to the bent knee. Reset the shoulders. If you've got that and you can keep the hips still, you can keep the stability in there, tabletop it, imprint, and then single leg stretch away and recenter. Breathing out. Single leg stretch. Really press those palms together. Recenter, reset the shoulders each time. Also think about here, draw your chin up towards your chest. So where's the strength there in the neck? Breathing out into that left. 4 and 3, Try not to let the knees cross the midline. And 2. Last one. Arms up towards the ceiling then, so breathe out. Turn the palms away. Take the arms over the head. Just touch the little fingers over the head. And then bring them back out to center. Breathing out, arms over the head. Really get this stretch now, kind of on the armpits. So keep the ribs, the chest down, and then recenter. Notice if your pelvic tilting, arms go over the head, are you pelvic tilting there? So really think here, imprint, pelvic floor in, front and back. TVA pulled in. So with that length at the back of the neck, the chin's not lifting. Nice and slowly stretching into the ribs and the chest. If you want a little bit more, then tabletop it. As the arms go over the head, straightening out both legs. Double leg stretch. Really focus now on the imprint here. Check you're not arching the lower back as the arms go over the head. Getting that little twist in the wrist, those little fingers just touch. We're not holding the breath. Breathing out into those extensions. 3 more. Find that TVA, pull in that tummy button. And 2. Last one. Breathing out. T-shape the arms in out to the sides. If you haven't got space, just cactus. Breathe out, let both knees drop across to one side, just that lower back release. Breathing in, recenter, over to the other side. Just allow gravity here just to take you through some stretches. Breathe in, recenter, breathe out, other side. Take the neck, take the head the other direction, get the stretch for the neck. Going to place the fingers behind the head and then really work at pressing the shoulder blades together here. So press the elbows down, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And we're going to just see if we can take a little cycle here. So pull in pelvic floor TVA, and if it feels like too much, just do a really mini cycle, okay? So just kind of more over the body, because the longer you make your cycle and your legs, then the harder it is for your core muscles to hold on. So if it's too much, just take like a really mini cycle. Just take the legs over the hips, a little mini cycle here. If you want a little bit more, start lengthening away. Breathing out, nice and long. Pressing those shoulder blades together, press the elbows down into the mat. Keep the length of the back of the neck, don't let the chin lift. 4 more breaths. Cycle the other way around, reverse cycle. 2 more breaths. Keep imprinting. And then bringing those legs back down. Gonna take that move, we're gonna put it into a shoulder stand. So rock back and lift up to your shoulder stand here. Then take the same thing, the cycle. Sometimes it takes a while to get up in your shoulders down, right? We haven't done this for a little while, you need a little bit of practice. So again, just a little bit of a bicycle move. Then stay on the bicycle if you want a different move and a bit of a progression. I'm going to take you a controlled balance, okay? And this is quite difficult. So you take your legs, and you're going to get a hamstring stretch. You're going to take your legs up of your head. Okay, if that feels comfortable, don't go for this if you don't feel happy. You take your arms over your head, and then you're going to just tease your hamstrings down to a controlled balance. So only if like your neck feels comfortable with this. Otherwise you're in your cycle, right? In your shoulder turn cycle. 2 more breaths. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, lower yourself down. Place your feet down. Bring your heels a bit closer towards your bum. And we're going to take a pelvic tilt and we're going to slowly lift into our shoulder bridge. So slowly pelvic tilt, pull in pelvic floor, pull in TVA. Rock the pelvis. It's almost like a massage here for the lower back. Then when you're ready, lifting up the hips, bring the arms up over the head, chin to chest. Once we're up in here, and we've been doing this every week now, then it's lifting one leg up, try and keep the hips still, extend that leg up to the ceiling, then bring the arms back down, squeezing that glute, and then lift the arms back up and over. And we've been working on this 4 times. Bring the arms down, lift them back over. Keep squeezing on that glute. Keep lifting up those hips as high as you can. Bring it down. Take it up over. Keep the length at the back of the neck. Arms down. Arms over. Arms down. Drop the leg down. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, lowering that down. Then rock it back up. Pelvic floor in. Lift up hips. Arms back over, lift up the other leg. 4 times then. Keep the length of the back of the neck, squeeze that glute. Bring those arms all the way down. Take those arms back up. Keep working on those hips being lifted. Number 2, bring it down. Take it up. Squeezing that glute. 2 more. Try not to tilt on the shoulders. Take it over. Bring it down. Squeezing those glutes. Take it up over. Bring the arms down. Drop that leg slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Lower yourself down. Hug your knees into your chest. Little bit of a rock or a circle. Rock yourself up to seated position. We're on 8 o'clock. I'm going to just go for 5 more minutes if that's okay. So if you need to go, no worries. Working with that little rock back, but we're going to go for a seal. So take your soles of your feet together. And you get this really great stretch there on the adductors and the groin. Really great. So soles of the feet together, I'll show you this way as well. Take the hands, take them underneath the legs and then hold on. So here we go for our seal. Lift up the feet, hover. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to rock back. 1, 2, 3. Rock back to your hover. 1, 2, 3. Rock back. Such a fun move. 1, 2, 3. Rock back. As you come back up to that original, the upright position, draw the shoulders down and back, right? Lift up the chest. 1, 2, 3. 1. You've got to get that core pulled in. 2 more. Rock back. Keep the control. Lift up the chest, shoulders back. Last one. Release it back down, straighten the legs. Okay. Flex at the feet. Breathe in, reaching up. Breathe out, circle the arms down and around, touch the toes. Breathe in, lifting up. Breathing out. We're going to go vertebra by vertebra. You might want to go halfway, you might want to go all the way, whatever you feel you can do. Extend, circle it. Bring it back up to the top. Bring it forwards. Feel the hamstring stretch. Breathe in, reach up. Breathing out, circle it round. Extend. Adding in if you want, you can just take a little twist at the top. So if you feel like it, you want to put a twist in at the top, then circle it forwards. Quite nice to put a bit of twisting in there. 2 more. Reach. Circle it. Get that chest lifted, shoulders back. Last one. Vertebrae to vertebrae coming down, keep the control. Add in some little twists. Whew. Facing this way then. Crossing the legs or legs straight, whichever's comfortable, get nice and tall. Fingers together, thumbs together. We're going to go in, underneath the chin into the sternum. Breathe in, get really tall in the spine, but try not to just lift up the chin with that. So think about the crown of the head going up and that length at the back of the neck. Breathing out, take your spine twist, just looking across to one of your knees. Feel that down the long strands in the spine. Breathe in, recenter. Breathing out the other side. Think about your shoulders here, so check your shoulders not tilting. I can't see anybody with their shoulders tilting in my screens. Breathing in, get tall, especially the length at the back of the neck. Breathing out, twist. Then taking a big bowl of porridge, legs straight, flex up the feet, stirring that porridge. I make a lot of porridge actually. Most mornings I make porridge. I've been eating a lot of porridge too actually. Breathing in at that centre point, breathing out as you reach forwards. And then just a nice little quote, I'm going to say this whilst we're doing our porridge. So with each inhalation, there is a new beginning. And with each exhalation, there is a new ending. Take that the other way around. And the breath, remember the breath is like life force, everything is in the breath. 2 more. Oh, I hope you feel nicely stretched out.